right. So, peace, respect. We got a student of the crafts, many crafts. Here we got Daniel, and he's here representing his performance, "Shot in the Dark" performance of a boom bap and rock and roll. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, word. It's kind of a working title. I got that on my arm, Boom Bap from Rock and Roll, so I just use that as the title, and that's what
Right,
the piece is about. So,
man. And this, for people that are not familiar with you, tell me more about like who you are and where you come from.
yeah, Daniel J Hees, the Pen Click Point Man, born and raised San Gabriel Valley. Yeah, I work with Pen Click. We have a poetry show, and we're trying to kind of push the envelope and like bring industry standard tech skills into the poetry world. Kind of just try and give it the same push that you see hip hop get and all of that. So that's a lot of my work at Mission Now. I'm an activist as well, so I do a lot in the community and a lot with the unhoused community and all of that. But yeah, SGV strong, dog. California, SoCal, born and raised.
What part of SGV?
I was born in El Monte, and then we lived in Baldwin Park, and then we lived in Azusa, and then we moved to Covina, and that was like, we're safe here, dog. This is nice. This is nice.
Sounds like me. We went from El Monte to La Puente to Hacienda Heights.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel you go through that culture shock of like, whoa, dog, everyone's got like fresh grass, and it's crazy.
It's culture shock when you're the only one that doesn't speak Spanish.
No, I feel you. Yeah. It's a whole different thing though, man. Like I remember moving to Covina and all of a sudden like fashion was a different thing and like getting roasted for wearing like K swooshes and like generic shoes and shit. Like in the Vadio, nobody cares.
Yeah, everybody wore the same swap meet, Georgetown jumpsuit.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, man. So that's awesome, man. So SGV, man, and there's a lot of music. I mean, it's kind of like where everybody from like East Los like kind of moves to, and other parts of LA to buy a house and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like if you're from like, like you notice like those areas, they're like starting to, people are starting to like buy homes and it's a whole different crowd. But, music, people are able to like, do backyard shows and stuff like that. Like you start seeing that like in La Puente, West Covina area. And tell me more about that. I mean, I know that you're into all that stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in the SGV Punk Scene. So we grew up throwing backyard shows and house parties and all of that. And like that's kind of my genesis. I was in like 5 or 6 bands before I graduated high school and just doing the punk rock thing. The beautiful thing about SGV is that we're right next to LA, right? So a lot of those industry skills and standards kind of trickle in to just our psyches, right? And how we operate. But there really is like a sense of artistry and passion in the SGV. Like we're all just doing this to do it because we love to do it. And this is what we do. And that's how it stays in the SGV.
I feel like, you want to do it because it's like, you already know, you get a taste that, you don't want to be necessarily into gangs or anything like that. So it's always like an alternative. I feel like when it comes to being like a student of like the music scenes, it's almost like it's either I jump in this gang or like I it's because mostly it's all for the girls, at the end of the day, when you're in high school, right?
the first band you start, right? You pick up the guitar for the girls.
Right.
And it becomes therapy way down the line.
Exactly. And to have that outlet is awesome. It's crucial. And I saw that a lot growing up, especially with like the party crews and stuff. Like even dancing was a big deal. Like, you could avoid being a gangster by just learning how to dance, and then the gangsters would be like, "Oh, that's cool, homie,"
Yeah, and it's dope because the SGV is so rich with like the 5 fingers. You feel me? Like, I grew up graphing. I grew up like spitting and ciphering and all of that. And
but like, I don't know if you're old enough, but I don't know. I'm an old school guy, but like in the early 90s, there was a split in graffiti, like you weren't allowed to like write anymore over here on this side, like you notice everybody from the 818, they still kind of like did it, hard all the way through the 90s and 2000s, right? and over here we were like, yeah, you couldn't get away with it too much, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have my charges that I've paid my tickets
Wow.
for and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But
So you used to hit up like you used to like mob it up all the time or what?
yeah, not a lot, but yeah, I used to do a lot of character pieces, a
Nice.
lot of like little throwies, just little like bombs, nothing too elaborate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you get a couple tickets and then they start really pressing you, and it's like, all right, yeah, I gotta hang this up or
Yeah.
move on. Now though, at 30, I'm like starting 32, I'm starting to dabble in it again just because I miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss the physical motion of it and like the visceral, tangible feeling of it, you know?
Oh yeah, it's definitely growing up was a big deal. I mean, that's how I kind of started What Are the Plants. It was definitely you know, the love of graffiti kind of started it all, you know. Uh,
Yeah, word.
and then I went from graffiti to dancing, you know, rapping, you know, then
Yeah,
DJing
yeah.
and making beats, you know. Like it kind of just once you go through all the, you know, you appreciate it, and then you realize, man, there's a lot of motherfuckers that are way better than me and everything. So,
Yeah.
so you got to decide either I really work on this day and night, or I just become a good fan, you
Yeah, or a hobbyist.
know.
I ain't finna jump over no fences or hit no train yards anymore. You feel me? But
Yeah,
um,
but I'm
it's
just
dope
saying.
though. It becomes a part of the culture. Like hip hop culture is so real, and punk rock culture is so real in San Gabriel Valley in Southern California that it is. It's like you said, it's an out for a lot of us. It's an escape. It's an option because we don't get art training in school, right? And we do have uncles that are banging, and we are next in line and shit.
Right,
So
right.
it gives us an out, and it gives us, like I said, a therapy eventually.
It does, and so where are your family from? Where's your parents from?
My mom's born and raised in Baldwin Park. My dad, so my stepdad adopted me when I was real little, but I never met my real dad. But he was also born and raised in that area. So
Nice.
I am third generation California.
Bowling,
Yeah,
Bowling
yeah.
Park,
Orale way, dog.
home of the
Orale. So bowling.
home of the In and Out.
Yeah, word in and out. Yeah, shouts out. And I love Baldwin Park. That's still
Yeah,
I love all of that area
it's
though, I
home,
guess.
and it's also home of the 2 for 1s. You know,
Yeah, word.
double ups.
Yeah, yeah, word that. And a whole lot of other unmentionable stuff too. But yeah, I
Yeah,
love it, man. SGV is beautiful. What we got out here in SoCal
that's
really
the
is special.
you know how like you know how Atlanta is the gateway to the south. Baldwin Park is the gateway to the Sureños. You
Yeah, orale for real, dog. Yeah, and that's real. That's real, man. It's
know.
crazy.
It's the gateway. Uh,
Hmm.
all right, man. Word up, man. That's awesome. So, all man, California boy, man, doing his thing, man. Poetry, making beats. You know, working on putting activist movements. And tell me more about that. Like, how can we get in contact with you and help donate with your cause and stuff like that? Or
Word, yeah.
at least you know, go check out your shows or something.
Yeah, you could reach me through PenClick, so PENCLIQUE, the most poppin' poetry content in the known galaxy. But I work with several organizations. I work a lot with Project It's in the Bag
Mm.
out here, so you can find that on Instagram at Project It's in the Bag. And what we do there is we create hygiene care packages for females. So sanitary items, and then just general hygiene and toiletries and things like that. And then we grassroots distribute everything. Actually, today I did a big shopping run because we try and do a monthly outreach every year, or every month rather, where we go out and we supply toiletries, water, food to
Mm.
our homeless community. And again, trying to alleviate some of the responsibility from other organizations in the area and hospitals. People don't realize, like, in the summer, heat stroke is a huge thing. So we'll do like big water drives where we'll just drive around all day, dog, and give folks a
Ooh,
gallon of cold water.
what are the
Because
plants?
yeah, for reals, and like that makes such an impact, just not only on
Well,
individuals, but on the system, right? Because you start alleviating heat stroke. That's less people in the hospital. That's
yep.
less people that go to the hospital and then end up in mental health care situations they're not ready for, or that end up criminalized because they went to the hospital.
That's
You know?
beautiful. People don't realize, just know, like, don't like if you don't want to, say, like people are like, oh, fuck the system or whatever. So you know how you fuck the system? You love each other, man.
Yeah,
Like that's
fact.
how you fuck the system. You know what I mean? Like you go that little extra mile for everybody. So that way it's like everybody's always in a battle to do like less and like, take advantage, instead of the other way around, like give you a little bit more. Like,
Yeah,
like, we're the land of the baker's dozen. You know what I mean? Like you buy 12, but they give you 13. You know what I mean? That's what
yeah,
makes us great. You know what I mean?
yeah,
you
facts.
know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like socks. Like, like giving socks to someone that's homeless.
Yeah.
Dude, that could cost you nothing.
Yeah,
But
and we're actually doing that too. So we
like,
got this outreach. We were fortunate enough to get funded for food, water, and then a little bit of clothing. So
yeah,
we'll give everybody toilet paper and things like that. But socks is huge for unhoused folks. Like
right.
I drive around, so I also do finance assistance work. So
Damn.
I go out and I help people kind of figure out what's wrong with their past due car notes and things like that, and try and get them back on track. But while I'm
Oh,
doing that, because I'm just driving around South LA all day, I'll just carry socks and water with me. You feel me? Because that is the one thing that it's twofold, right? Like it's a lifestyle thing, right? To have a cold bottle of water is so taken for granted, and to have clean socks is so taken for granted, and it makes such an impact on an
oh,
unhoused
oh
individual.
yeah, hell yeah. You gotta feel good. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, bro. And I see it. I see it in LA. I mean, we're like probably one of the biggest, states to have, this problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think, there's a lot of people. You know, what I mean, in Southern California, if everybody just chipped in, if you multiply 25 cents from everybody that lives in Southern California to help people like them, I think we would make a change tomorrow. You know?
yeah, really, and that's a lot of our message. Like it's
Yeah,
just about what you can do, and if we
yeah,
mobilize, and like you said, it's all love.
yeah,
If we're all acting in love, it all kind of works itself out how it's supposed to. And there's
yeah.
so many unhoused folks in LA, and so the housing situation is so crazy out here.
It's
It's
ridiculous.
predatory. It really is. We have more available housing in LA than we have unhoused folks, and
Right.
throughout Southern California at least. And like that's a big thing too. Advocating that I do is advocating for housing. That's how you fix this issue, because whenever you house people, then the other issues start to alleviate, right? Like the drug issue, the mental health issues, the health issues, the interpersonal issues, they all start to iron themselves out,
Mm-hmm.
because having a home is the basis, right? If you don't have a basis for growth, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to grow. It's just how it works. So,
Wow.
yeah, advocating for that is huge for me. Like that is the answer to the solution. And unfortunately, it is like you said, a lot of people just don't know how to act in love and work in love. So it's like, yo, why should we give people free
Yeah.
housing? And it's like, well, because they need it, dog. And
Yeah.
we're not offering them houses with quarter acre lots and backyards. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
just a bed and a roof is enough to change somebody's whole situation for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Like I always tell people that get mad about things like that is like the only people that abuse things that are like funded by the government or subsidized like by private institutions. The only people that abuse those things are people that don't need it. You
Yeah. And yeah, and
know?
the ratios are right too. That it's not like
Right. Yeah.
99% of people are abusing it and just
Yeah.
ciphering
Yeah.
the system.
Exactly.
Most of those folks do need the help. Like now
Yeah.
we have huge issues with older folks. Now we have retayees that can't afford their mortgage and their rent and all of
And
that.
it's
So
expensive. Inflation is going crazy right now. Minimum wage, I gotta go back to work,
yeah, word.
and then
Yeah.
how they gonna live off of like 14. It's
Yeah,
hard.
and rents $2,800 for a house in some spots. You know what I'm saying? Like affordable housing and available housing is the solution. And that to say though, there is things people could do like this, right? Like
Right.
we're grassroots. We just drive around, dog, and just give people food and water and all of that, and that helps change things too.
Wow. I mean, I know that I saw Immortal Technique was doing something like that, where he was collecting funds and dropping off like food packages and stuff like that during like this whole COVID,
Yeah, and that is a lesson that I did take from like the punk rock and backpack
Yeah.
community. You know what I'm saying? Like you take care of each other, you act in love, and you
People don't
respect and
understand
love
that.
your community.
People don't
Yeah.
understand that. Like, I mean, I'm glad that you're a young cat, and you were, at least the knowledge was passed down to you, because, you know, a lot of people think hip hop is just rapping and, like, acting cool or breaking styles or whatever. But there's a humanitarian approach to the concept of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, word, dog. Dead Prez taught me most of the life lessons I needed to learn before I was
Yeah,
21. You feel me? Like,
yeah. It's a big it's like it's each one teach one, and all the lessons that we learn from, like, the people that came before us, to kind of like use that in everyday life, and not you're spitting lyrics out in the real world,
yeah.
when you communicate with people. I'm pretty sure your schooling in hip hop and writing rhymes has helped you present things in front of large audiences and stuff like that, when it comes to you're being an activist, or selling your services, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And to say things like you mean it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
Like to actually mean it, to know
Yeah.
how to do that. Like that is a skill set that you got to learn. And yeah, punk rock and hip hop, that's all I've ever comfortably identified as, is a punk rocker. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
I'm half brown and half white, so I was always on that fence, you feel me?
So you're
So
saying,
like
so your mom was Latino or your dad was Latino?
no, my dad's Latino. My dad is
Or Latino X? Latino X is the correct word now,
yeah, Chicano. We
right?
consider we're natives, so my family's Puebla from New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my great grandfather assimilated and left reservation in the early 1900s. So
The
yeah,
last of
dog,
the last of the
indigenous.
Mohicans. See,
Yeah,
people
but
don't.
I'm a white boy too. You feel me? So it's always been that thing. I've always grown up with like those, and all I've ever really been, right, is just a punk rocker and like a backpacker. So
All
that
right.
is my church. That is my lessons.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I know that you said something about a white boy, and this is something that we kind of like ask everybody right now. Yeah, every once in a while when this topic it comes to arise. Um, so we're gonna ask you, who's the more funkier white boy, Steely Dan or Michael McDonald?
Oh, Steely Dan, dog. Steely Dan all day. Steely Dan. They got the science too, man. Like I'm not a huge Steely Dan fan, meaning I don't like spin Steely Dan all the time, but I'd be cutting it up and like that's like real jazz. You feel me? And
Right.
I'm a jazz and soul head too. So God bless all that. God bless all the musicians out there.
That's dope. Well, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you, bro. And thank you for having, spending some time with us, chilling, relaxing, and telling us more about yourself. And just one more time, come on, give me all the information how people can reach you, and let them know where they can get in contact with you for all your charities and stuff like that.
Yeah, word. Daniel J Hees, Penclick, PENCLIQUE.net. You can hit me there. You can hit our Instagram at PENCLIQUE. My personal Instagram is at The Chubby Fat. That's a comedy podcast that we run as well. But yeah, feel free to reach out, email me if you guys are looking to get involved or want to donate or anything like that. And big ups to y'all. What are the plans for helping artists and platforming us and giving us this platform to share and again build that grassroots network and change the world, dog.
Thank you so much, for being a part of us, and and giving you your time, and blessing our studio. But one more thing I'm gonna ask you: can you set me up? We're about to show your performance. Can you tell them what they're about to see right now?
So you're about to see all of the punk rock and hip hop. The references, it's all just all of the things that like I wanted to celebrate. I wanted to write like I said, punk rock and hip hop for me was church. So I wanted to play homage to that. And that's kind of what this piece is. It's just giving a shout out to all the big homies and all the lessons I've learned through them. So big ups to LL Crew and big ups to Visionaries and Tumex and all of them, you know what I'm saying? Like all of the circle jerks and all the just everything, man. Like SoCal music helped save my life, and punk rock and hip hop saved my life. So I wanted to just throwing up for the homies and the OGs and thank them.
Yes, y'all. They don't understand.
Hey.
The history is rich,
Yeah.
And check it out, man. So here you go. Check this out right here. Dope.